Shalom, giving all honor, all praise, and all glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rachak, Wadash. Their abundance to the elder apostles and bishops of the great millstone that rule well. And as always, peace, blessings, and salutations unto those fully like tabernacle of David that are scattered abroad across the four winds of the earth. The wickedness, the ignorance, the degenerate behavior, the evil eye that Jake have towards one another, it should be studied. And, this is one of the reasons why the Most High is going to put down 2/3 of his own people here in America. That's why a lot of them going to have to come back on the next go around, because, our people, they're not in the right space mentally. They're definitely far removed. They're forsaken, of course, because the Most High is not dealing with them. These are people that are rejected of their Lord. You look at how they behave. No home training. There's no love, of course, no compassion, just terror, oppression, mistreatment. Our people ain't shit, man. And, we have to grow up around this BS. I never understood it when I was younger, but having a thorough understanding of this truth, now I understand that this is all just part of the curse. So this is what I'm about to get into. I'm gonna play the video. But this whole gang lifestyle, this whole gang ideology is one of the worst things, that our people got involved with. It really messed their heads up. It brings you down. Really, Jake, they suppress they self, in these conditions. And they only do it to they self. So when evil happens to them, when we hear about Jake getting murdered in the streets, when we hear about these niggas, getting shot down by law enforcement, this is why we don't really, why would you? Why would you shed any tears? Why would you even give any kind of condolences? The hell with these niggas, man. Like the brothers down south say, so long, Jake. Now I'm gonna play this video clip so y'all, this is where this is all coming from. And I had to grow up around this crap. All right. Didn't have to deal with it. All right. Always knew that this was let me just play the video. Now what you're gonna see is you look like a regular civilian Jake. All right, he's not a part of no gang. He's not, going around terrorizing people. But I guess he approached this woman who was a streamer, and she's walking through the streets of LA. She don't know what the hell is going on, right? She's in her, her own little world. She feels safe because, she know ain't nobody finna try her or press her or nothing like that. She appears to look like a so-called white woman. She might be the Hispanic, but I think she's a so-called white woman. But, this Jake comes up to her and they kind of correspond with each other. I don't know if they kind of flirting or whatnot. But what she witnessed, it broke her down, all right? She was astonished at what she witnessed. And this is an ongoing thing every day. This is a common, normalized thing. All right. So let's look at this.
Sunshine, so he's trying to give me the address towards. He's trying. No, I don't gangbang, bro. Gangbang? No, I don't gangbang, bro. No, I thought you was that one nigga from St. Louis.
Yeah, you see these little fucking monsters, man. These little GMO babies, you know, following the patterns and the footsteps of the generation before them that was basically doing the same thing. And, you know, they feel like this, moving around like this, it gives them, you know, some kind of power. You know, they feel real tough. You know, but they don't show this same energy towards anybody else but people that look like them. All right, basically these niggas are trained to terrorize their own people. You know, what other people, you know, deal with this outside of the tribes? You got to be pressed just for being the damn near the same complexion. You know, you minding your business, you on the street. The man just said he's not a part of no gang. He's a civilian. But look what these little niggas do.
You know, I don't gangbang. You got orange on too. I don't see you on the video. Nah. Nigga, I see you on LA Hood page. Nah.
And it's just cowardly too. Because I'm sure not one of these little niggas, if they were just on their own by themselves, they would have kept it moving. They wouldn't have said nothing to dude. It's only when they when they gather together, when they feel tough and they want to, you know, try to bully, you know, people that are, you know, vulnerable. You know, he's obviously by himself. He doesn't have a crew with him. So this is the time to prove that they tough. This is why I never respected that gang shit, even though I grew up around all that shit. When ICE because Trump, you know, he was alluding to not just people that are of illegal status in the country. He wants to put a lot of these type of motherfuckers. Excuse my French, but that's, hey man, this type of it gets you hot. But he was alluding to, you know, people with violent criminal history, you know, criminal offenses that basically you can get your citizenship revoked too. All right, they sending people to freaking Sudan. You don't know what the hell is going on over there in Sudan. But I would support Trump if he took these kind of niggas off the streets and sent them any fucking where for all I care. Because all they're going to do here is just oppress their own people, terrorize them, you know, bully them. You know, Yahweh Shai, one of the principles that he taught, which goes back to our law, was do unto others as you would have done unto you. But our people, they don't do that. They don't treat the next person with the respect that they would want. It's because our people, they're not growing up with any discipline, any instruction, because then the fathers are not there, of course. So who's raising these little monsters? It's the state and the NDUP. That's who's raising these little niggas. You know, they didn't receive no discipline. And the scriptures all throughout, it teaches how to, you know, train up a child in a way that he should go. You're also supposed to, you know, discipline your child. You know, don't spare the rod from them. Whoop their ass. Keep them out of trouble. But this is why a lot of them they have early graves. They either incarcerated or they go early down to the grave. So anyway, let's keep going, man.
Wrong nigga.
You're not from Snowman.
I don't gangbang.
You're not from
I
Snowman.
don't gangbang.
You sure?
I don't gangbang.
You're not from Snowman.
Now, mind you, that little nigga that's saying that Snuva is basically a way to diss the Hoovers, which they're another gang in LA and known for their gang colors is orange and known for wearing orange. And I perceive, because I did remember seeing this not too long ago, and now I remember why I was so damn mad when I seen it. But the Jake, he's a civilian. He's not dressed like no gang member, but I think he has on orange pants. So they saw the orange color, impressed him. Which, if the man said he's not in a gang, he's not affiliated with no gang, he's a civilian, you're supposed to let him go. But they insisted because they got something to prove. These little weak ass niggas, man. So, and by the way, the chief, well, we can't call him a chief priest. The Gorilla Hebrew, that's his gang. He claims Hoover. He claims he's from Hoover, and so they that's what they say in LA to disrespect that hood. All right. But anyway, we're gonna get to the scriptures, man. But I just gotta show y'all the visual, man. Let y'all see and listen for yourself. All right, this is horrible, and Jacob's trouble is definitely needed. Okay, Jacob's trouble is gonna be a fix to all this shit. Just wait. They won't gang up on no Edomite. They're not gonna do this to an Edomite. Because they know what time it is. Esau, he can be walking his dog, he'll walk right through these niggas. He'll walk right in between these niggas, and them niggas, they wouldn't even pay him no mind. They just on back to the Negro. Let's continue to press him. These are people right here, man. So right there, he just got assaulted. One of them niggas assaulted him, and then they took off running like some little hoes. Like I said, they wouldn't have done. Neither one of these niggas would have done this by themselves on their own, because they think strength is in numbers. It's the only time they feel tough. Because they ain't moving like that without each other. That's why I never respected that gang life, man. You're only tough when you with the crew. That's that bishop from Juice Spirit. Dude was he was only tough when his crew showed up. That's when he grew balls. And then when he got that gun in his hand, you couldn't do nothing with him. That's when he became the boogeyman. And I despise cowardice, man. Anyway.
Who slapped you?
Did you just get slapped?
I did.
You just got slapped?
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm
so
good.
sorry.
Yeah, this is LA. I'm gonna make it out though. I'm gonna be a millionaire.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry. What the fuck?
No, it's all good. It's all good.
Why the fuck did they do that?
But karma's gonna come, and it's all good. Look,
Dude, that's not okay.
I know it's not okay. But it's all good. I'm gonna catch you though.
I'm really sorry.
Yeah, she's astonished at what she saw. She ain't used to seeing stuff like this. All right, she's of another nation. All right, but she's witnessing. This is what Jake have to deal with. Clearly a curse. She don't even understand. This is an everyday thing.
Wait, do you want to get my Instagram?
I thought you already gave it.
All right, bye. I don't know. I feel so bad.
No.
I'm gonna go to my car. Wait, I'm actually gonna cry. I can't believe that just happened. That's really upsetting. No, babies.
All right.
No, he was really nice though, and they just ganged up on him for nothing.
Like I said, that this kind of shit is to be studied. All right, and you don't think that nations study Jake and their behavior and how they came to this? So let's go to the curse real quick. To Deuteronomy 28, and I'm gonna get it amplified in the Amplified Bible. Oh, let me go down. Yep. This is Deuteronomy 28, and I'm gonna go straight to the curse. And it says, "But it shall come about, if you do not listen to and obey the voice of the Lord your God, being careful to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I am commanding you today, then all these curses will come upon you and overtake you. You will be cursed in the city and cursed in the field." So off tops, every major city where Jake is at, it's under a condition that when outsiders come in, for some reason they feel like they gotta drive. They can't just walk around, unless you're a white woman like that, because the so-called white woman, she's the most protected. Nobody even thinks to do any harm towards her. Every once in a while she might be a victim and preyed upon, but for the most part, everybody knows don't even touch her. So she could feel safe walking around in the city. All right, but most of the time, Jake in the city, when you go down to was it verse 64, 65? Yeah, I'm gonna read 65, and the point is at verse 66 and 67. This is what Jake have to deal with in the city. This is the feeling that you have to have when you're in the city versus these strangers, these other nations. Where they could just come in, set up shop, set up a business, take Jake's money, and then go back to their neighborhood where they live at, put their money with their so-called community, right? Deuteronomy 28:65, it says, "Among those nations, you will find no peace, rest, and basically no ease. It's not going to be easy. And there will be no resting place for the sole of your foot, but there the Lord will give you a trembling heart." You're going to be nervous, right? Failing eyes and a despairing soul. Basically somebody that's depressed, right? They have no hope. And that's how Jake be feeling. Showing the loss of all hope, despairing. To despair, lose, or be without hope. So Jake be feeling hopeless, man. Because the conditions never change. All right. Unless, Jake gets removed because he saw he'll gentrify your area. If there's some kind of value, if the property in the neighborhood is valued, they'll come and gentrify that shit and raise the prices to move them niggas out. And that's what they've been doing in LA, for quite some time now. But it's still niggas in LA. Okay. Still riddled with niggas. But a lot of them they're moving inland, they moving and they move into the valley. A lot of them moving out here. That's why crime is increasing here in Vegas. Vegas is not what it used to be. Because the price of the cost of living in LA is so crazy. So they're moving here, which Vegas was more of a tourist spot for people in Cali to come to for weekends to bullshit, gamble, drink, whatever they was gonna do, concerts, come see a fight, and then they would leave and make that 4-hour drive back to LA or whatever. But now these people are they moving out here, So here's what you got to deal with in the city. It says your life will hang in doubt before you. Night and day you will be filled with anxiety, worry, nervousness, and have no assurance of living. You don't know if you're going to live. You don't know if your next day is going to be your last day, because you got to worry about a nigga, a grimy little nigga, man, that's looking to, blow your top off just to prove something, because he wants street cred. He got something to prove to his big homies, his OGs or whatever. He got to put in work by oppressing and terrorizing his own people. And that's weak and cowardly. There's certain gang members that don't respect that either. They'll usually, if you say, you're not from a particular street gang, they call it stalling you out or giving you a pass. They let you go because you're a civilian. They don't get no points for pressing a civilian. They go after other rival gang members, and they became those gangs will become rivals because of an incident that may have happened, decades before, and it was retaliations involved over a situation, and that's how those neighborhoods become rivals. You kill somebody from my family, my set, so I'm gonna go and take 2 of yours, and then vice versa, and then it never ends. And then Jake be trying to do little truces, and that shit don't be working out. You under the curse. You can't break the curse. All right, niggas are just, inherently right now, they're just inherently evil. They under that evil impulse. Like when you read in, was that 2nd Esdras, the 3rd chapter? That evil impulse, man. That evil root of malignity. All right? Our people are very malicious towards each other. It says, in the morning you will say, I wish it were evening. And in the evening you will say, I wish it were morning, because of the dread in your heart with which you tremble, because of the sight of your eyes which you will see. All right. And normally, we would quote this verse here where it says, verse 54, it says, the man who is most refined and well-bred among you will be cruel and hostile toward his brother and toward the wife he cherishes and toward the rest of his children who remain. Now we apply this curse in general to our people, because it says that these curses will be upon us as a sign, all right, for generations forever. But this is talking about when our nation would become prey under siege, when a nation will come and basically siege our land and surround us and fortify us and wage war against it. This would be Jake's behavior and attitude under those conditions. That there won't be any compassion towards each other. They would just be hostile and cruel. You know, a man would be this way towards his own brother, his own kin, a man of his own nation, and as well as against his own woman. And then vice versa. The woman, she's the same way towards her man and her children. You know, so you get the same hostility. All right. So this is clearly a curse. All right. Our women are the way they are towards the men, and the way the men are towards their women, the way our women are towards their children, the way the man is towards his children, and how they are towards each other. It's clearly a curse. So this is the reason why Jake is behind and why everybody else supersedes Jake. Jake can't get no freaking where, but look at him. Now I'm going to read this verse too. Now, I'm still in the AMP because I like this translation. All right, especially how it breaks it down. All right, it's Deuteronomy 28 and verse 37. It says, "And you will become a horror, a proverb, a mere object lesson." Basically, you will be used as an object of something to be studied. You know, like you can basically learn from our people, man, the way they are, their behavior. All right, when you look up, let's look that up. An object lesson meaning a striking practical example of some principle or ideal. You go down here, Merriam-Webster says the meaning of object lesson is something that serves as a practical example of a principle or abstract idea. Wikipedia, an object lesson is a teaching method that consists of using a physical object or visual aid as a discussion piece for a lesson. Niggas are to be studied. All right. You niggas are walking experiments. All right. Esau, he created y'all. All right. And you know, he created and crafted you niggas, man. All right. You learn how to be degenerate, you know, hostile. You learn that hostility from your slave master. He showed you this level of hostility towards you, and now you channel it and it's used towards yourself. He made you hate yourself. All right. Cambridge Dictionary, an action or story that teaches you or how not to act, or that clearly shows the facts of a situation, usually a bad one. Yeah. So Jake is something to be studied. And when you study them, you learn how not to be. Okay. So that's what Jake is. All right. Under these curses, man, they're proverbs and bywords. All right. This is why people call you, you know, out of your name, because you have no identity. You have no respect. You have no heritage. It says, in a taunt and a derisive joke among all the people to which the Lord drives you. So, yeah, man. And in this right here, this is the same thing. This is the Northern Kingdom edition. Now pay attention to this as well. Same thing. This is what the Northern tribes. You're going to tell me they're not Israel too? They're not under curse? Watch this.
Okay, what?
This is a Latin tribe. I don't know if they Issachar or whatnot, but the dude is sitting here with his girl and they sitting down having a bite to eat. All right. Look like they eating some trash though. Taco Bell, that's trash. But they sitting there, they mind their business, they eating. And look what happens here. Same shit.
Hey, my little bag on. Hey.
Yeah. Yeah. On game bang. Huh? On game bang. You on game bang? Nah. Sure? Yeah. You don't kick with nobody? Huh? You don't kick with nobody? Nah. You sure?
Yeah.
You're not from Chisa?
Nah.
You sure?
Yeah.
Huh?
On game day.
You sure?
Yeah.
What about you?
That's my female on game day.
This play goes on me.
Alright.
What the fuck you looking at, huh? Yeah, you turn the fuck away. You feel me? Alright.
Dude came to press him and his woman. Because, you know, in the gang life, you know, females are a part of gangs too. They don't mind pressing a female as well. You know, this is crazy. What other nations do this? Now in LA, you might have, because there is you got the Samoans. They got gangs. You got some Asians. You know, they have their little gangs too. You got the Armenians out there. They got gangs too. So LA is just a gang, you know, riddled city. But with all the gentrification, it's like, why in the hell would you even, like, why? What is there to be mad about that you got to go impress people? And that's what other people from other regions of the country and even around the world, that's what they don't understand. Like, well, no, they do understand, but it's like they question that, like, you living on the coast, the scenery looks nice compared to other cities when you migrate eastward. You know, you got good weather, you got the palm trees, you know, sunny beaches. What is there to be angry about that you got to go around pressing each other? It's, hey, anywhere Jake is at, they bring down the value because they're cursed. Cursed shall you be in the city, man. And they would never press the people who priced them out of their homes and forced them to move out of their neighborhoods. The gentrification that's going on. See, down in Mexico right now, they actually oppressing the people that are actually gentrifying Mexico City and other parts where you got Edomites that are moving into Mexico because the cost of living is way cheaper. They know the American dollar goes very far in down in those type of countries. So they moving down there and they setting up businesses, setting up restaurants. And it's American Edomites, and they looking down on the Israelites that live there. All right, pricing them out of their own neighborhoods, doing the same thing that they do here in the States. So you know what Issachar is doing down there in Mexico? They out there rioting, they tearing shit up, and they're tearing up the businesses that are owned by Americans. Don't bring your asses down here. You know, we're not wanted up there. Well, you're not wanted down here. That's what Issachar is doing down in Mexico. All right. But over here in the States, you got Issachar pressing Issachar. Not keeping the same energy. So that's why, you know, 2/3 of our people here in America, man, they got to be cut off and die as it is written, man. 2 parts got to be cut off and put down. This shit is insanity. All right, but hey, it definitely goes back to the curses. Now let me bring this out in Isaiah 59. This describes our people. This is the reason why the Lord ain't dealing with them. Isaiah 59 and 1 and 2, and I'm gonna jump down. It says, "Behold, the Lord's hand is not so short that it cannot save, nor his ear so impaired that it cannot hear. But your wickedness has separated you from your God." And you had nigga like Doughboy on Boys in the Hood. You know, there is no God. If there was a God, why do you be letting motherfuckers get smoked every night? Your sins, your wickedness is what separates you from your God. He turned his face from you because look at you. You know? And your sins have hidden his face from you so that he does not hear. So the Lord leaves Jake in these conditions to see if they're gonna acknowledge their wickedness and repent and change, amend themselves, but they don't do that. Gang banging is a way of life, so this is what they do. All right, it's they damn near turned it into a damn culture, part of black culture. So the Lord will let Jake wallow in their own devices. There is a way that seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death. That gang life is definitely a way of death, because that's all that follows. All right. So let me jump down. This describes the behavior of our people. Verse 6, it says, their webs will not serve as clothing, nor will they cover themselves with what they make. Their works are works of wickedness, of sin, of injustice, of wrongdoing. Yeah, man, they're wise to do evil, but to do good, they have no knowledge, right? They're sottish children, stupid. And the act of violence is in their hands. You know, they be pressing, looking for something to happen. They be wanting it. You know, like when they really want to get violent and they know you don't want it, it makes them even more violent. Like you would think that, you know, you humbling yourself, you know, during that in that moment and trying to be the bigger person and being harmless, you would think that that would help the situation and maybe send a signal to the nigga that, hey, you're not there for any confrontation, right? You're not a violent person. You know what that do? It turns them up even more. Like, man, you look familiar, homie. I think I've seen you before. They ain't never seen you a day in their life. But they're gonna press you. They're gonna press the issue. They're gonna make up something in their head to make them feel justified to, you know, keep the hostility. You know, wasn't that you that did this, such and such and such? And you like, huh? What are you talking about? Nah, man, I know you from somewhere. I seen you from somewhere. You sure you ain't from that block or that street? Just so that they can try to do something to you. I've witnessed it happen. I've been pressed before, you know, and sometimes you know, I wouldn't advise this, but it was times when I would just like, I go ape shit. I ain't from nowhere, but if y'all trying to harm me right now, let's just get it over with. Let's go. Sometimes they would be like, all right, this dude, he mean business, all right. But yeah, they'll because they sense, you know, your kindness, and they think you being mellow, you know, it means that you're weak. They sense weakness when you're trying to show humility. It says their feet run to evil, and they rush to shed innocent blood. Yeah, innocent bystanders get caught up in this mess. You know, bystanders getting caught by stray bullets. You know, or getting jumped. I remember there was an incident. This was in Chicago. This was probably like 15, 16 years ago, something like that. But these were some kids, man. They was walking home from school. They on their uniforms. And I guess some fight broke out. And I'm pretty sure them little niggas was in some gangs. And there was a boy, he wasn't a part of none of the gangs, but he happened to walk towards the commotion, you know, the altercation that was going on. And instead of walking away from it, it cost him his life because he ended up in it, you know, and he tried to, you know, defend himself. And, you know, some boys came over and they had some wooden planks in their hands, and they was beating him upside the head with it. They knocked him on the ground, start beating him in the head with it, and stomping him out on the pavement. And basically, he was done after that. The kids was trying to, pick him up, trying to, get him up. He wouldn't get up. He was done. They killed him right in the streets. And he didn't have any involvement in any of the street gang, but he happened to be in that space, which the scriptures say, the Lord, he directs the steps of men. Man's goings are of the Lord. So, it was part of that kid's judgment to go out that way. But had he, walked away, because I would have been far across the street away from all that madness. He ended up walking towards it and ended up in the midst of it and became a victim of it. All right. And that's our people, man. It says their thoughts are thoughts of wickedness, of sin, of injustice, of wrongdoing. Devastation and destruction are in their highways. Yep. Shootouts, drive-bys. They do not know the way of peace, and there is no justice in their tracks. They have made them into crooked paths, like gang banging. Whoever walks on them does not know peace. And you won't. You won't know peace, man. So the only remedy for these people is they gotta go. All right. They gotta, taste of death. And that's why a lot of them is going, when Esau sends the command, he's going to give these devils charge over Jake. He's going to send them against a godless nation, a hypocritical nation. All right. And he's going to do according to the Most High's anger. The talking about the rod of the Assyrian when you read Isaiah 10. All right. Because our people, they ain't shit right now. So these niggas, these gangs, they ain't not going to keep the same energy. Esau sends in the military because you already got these white nationalists. They dressing up like they're law enforcement. They dressing up like they part of ICE. They dressing up like they're federal, and they going and take and they're getting involved. All right, rounding people up, daring these illegals to do something about it. So the Lord's going to he's putting a cold spirit on E. So y'all niggas keep the same energy when E comes to your neighborhoods. All right, and start snatching you up. Press them. Press the National Guard, press ICE, press those Marines, all these different men of the military that's going to be policing your neighborhoods. All right, and watch out for them drones too. They don't need the ghetto birds no more. They got drones now. Follow your every move, watching over your ass. That's going to be your ops. Robot dogs. That's going to be your ops. Press these robot dogs. Robot canines and shit like that. Anyway, I pretty much went long enough, but yeah, man, this is the reason why people are done out here. Okay. This is what separates them from the Heavenly Father, and that's why the Most High is gonna, leave them like that, and He's gonna destroy them, because there ain't no hope for them. All right, they're beyond repair to the point of no return. They become a degenerate plant of a strange vine unto the Lord. So that's why the Lord is only calling back a remnant. All right, there was a cluster that he made perfect for himself. It says to basically keep that cluster and spare them, but let the multitude perish that was born in vain. Yeah, 2 Ezra 9:20 says, "So I considered the world, and behold, there was peril because of devices that were come into it, and I saw and spared it greatly, and have kept me a grape of the cluster and a plant of it's like the plant of a great people, but they become a degenerate plant." Let the multitude perish then, which was born in vain, and let my grape be kept, and my plant, for with great labor have I made it perfect. And that's talking about the Lord's elect. Okay. These right here, they're the 2/3, man. They're the part of that multitude that was born in vain. All right, cursed in the city. All right. And what's sad is some of those gangs, they started as gangs to protect, their communities, their neighborhoods from these Edomites that would come and oppress them. That's what it originally started as. Then it got infiltrated and turned into something completely different. Then it just led you down the cycle of destruction. So, yeah, man. This is something to learn from, man. All right. So anyway, with that, I'm gonna give all honor, all praise, and glory to Yahweh Shai, and until the next lesson, Shalom.